Hi guys, welcome to this PALS Connect video. We're two first year psychology students and we're here just to give you a few bits of advice from what we've learnt in our first year, and hopefully it's helpful for you, so yeah, we'll get to it.
I'm Maria and I'm half German and half English. I was at a German international school before I came to UCL, and so I did the IB. My subjects were higher biology, psychology and German, and standard English, maths and sports science.
I'm Phoebe, I'm from London, didn't have to travel far to UCL. I did A-levels, so I did maths, biology, chemistry and English, and I actually didn't study psychology before coming to UCL.
So how did you find that, coming to UCL and having not done psychology before?
I was a bit worried, to be honest, because I thought it would be like I'd be completely out of my depth. I wouldn't know what was going on and everyone would have studied psychology before, but to be honest, it's all new content, everyone's learning something new, and from what you've learned before you can apply all your skills to psychology and it's actually very manageable. So if you haven't studied psychology before, I wouldn't worry. And how about you though, because you studied psychology before, how was the transition from before uni to at uni?
Yeah, so it was nice to know, because I'd studied psychology before, I obviously knew what I was getting myself into. I knew quite a lot about the subject before, which was really nice. The main benefit would definitely be that you're familiar with the content. You obviously go over similar things in first year as you would have done at school, but it's obviously not the same and not to the same extent. So there still was a lot of new things, which was really good. I just had maybe a bit more of a natural feel for it than someone who wouldn't have studied psychology, but that didn't really matter.
I feel like the biggest change from like before university to coming to university is like that the learning is like quite independent. So like how did you manage your like workload?
That is definitely the biggest step up. You go from being given everything to sort of have to doing everything yourself. The approach I took was I always went to the lectures was the first time I had any look at the content. So I went to lectures, wrote notes down and sort of explained to you, which was nice, and then went home and then brushed up on the lectures. You looked more in depth at the lecture slides because you can't write everything down in the moment, and then doing the reading. First term I didn't do all of the reading, and I think second term I did, and it massively helps. And I remember sitting in second term being like, oh wow, this is really useful. Well, it is there for a reason. So I found doing lecture and then everything else later worked for me. How about you?
I was actually kind of like different. I find it very difficult to concentrate in lectures, so I tried to do the reading beforehand, and if I couldn't do the reading in time, I definitely had a look at the lecture slides, just so then when I'm in the lecture I'm familiar with the content and I don't have so much processing to do. There's like less information that's like completely new to you. So yeah, it's quite interesting where we did different approaches, but I think the main thing is finding your routine and trying to stick to it, otherwise you probably won't stay on top of your work.
No, and the big thing to add to that is a massive tip is to ask questions if you have any. Definitely in lectures are always happy to answer questions, or if it's a bit too much in the moment, like you're a bit too nervous to ask in front of everyone else, then you can ask questions after the lecture. Professors usually stick around for a few minutes afterwards to answer questions. Or if that's too much, you can ask questions anonymously, and that's on the Moodle page, which is like the UCL's page, where all the academics are, all the stuff online. And you can post a question there, or if you want to discuss it more in depth, you could leave it until your seminar and ask it in a seminar group and have a discussion as a seminar group, because that can also be really useful.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like sometimes it's quite nice to have like a face-to-face conversation, and another way you can do that is with some modules you get these practicals where you know you're in groups of other students and there are PhD students who are there for you to ask questions, and I definitely recommend going to them, because the face-to-face conversation is just so useful, and it just is a bit easier to ask questions there and get, you know, solid answers. And there's also these workshops that you can sign up for in terms of like essay writing, because I know that can be quite daunting coming to university and you're not knowing how to like write some assessments and essays. So yeah, definitely there's a lot of things available, so I really wouldn't worry if you're scared that you might struggle a little bit transitioning.
I think that also goes to show that there's so much extra stuff on offer, and it's not only within the course. As much as I love my course in university, it's primarily about what you study. There's just so much more to university than that. I think I came thinking university was all about the academics, and it's really not. There's so much more to it, like all the clubs and stuff like that, absolutely worth joining.
Yeah, definitely. I think first year is the time to definitely get stuck in, join a society, try something new. Don't be afraid, because, you know, honestly, everyone's here just trying to have a good time, learn a skill, and honestly, there are so many societies, there's something for everyone. So first year, get your teeth in, get stuck in, definitely.
And enjoy it, because the workload in first year is definitely manageable. That was the main advice I got, just enjoy first year, and I really did.
Perfect. Well, I hope this was helpful for all of you. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you next year when you join.